There is a reason why, in some people, time seems to move differently. The face remains calm, the eyes hold light, and their presence feels untouched by the years. It is not because they have found a secret cream or escaped hardship. It is because they have learned to align the inner and outer worlds. When you look younger than your age, it is not just a matter of appearance. It is the result of harmony within. Your thoughts are not heavy, your regrets are not chains, your spirit is not constantly fighting the world. In Shaolin tradition, we say, your face reflects your heart, and your posture reflects your mind. A relaxed heart gives rise to peaceful energy, and peaceful energy flows through the body like fresh water, washing away stress, cleansing the tension, and nourishing your essence. So the question is not, why do you look young? The question is, what have you done to protect your inner space? What discipline do you practice that allows your light to remain undimmed in a world that constantly tries to weigh you down? Today, let us talk about the real reasons behind youthful energy, not vanity but vitality. Not surface but spirit. Let us uncover the path that makes time an ally, not an enemy. In the fast, moving rhythm of life, we often chase after external validation, physical improvements, and youth, preserving methods without recognizing the true origin of aging. There is a silent force inside each of us that either burdens the body or allows it to move freely through time. This silent force is inner stillness. When cultivated, it becomes the invisible armor that shields the body from the wear and tear of stress, worry, and emotional chaos. The body does not age only because of years, it ages because of accumulated inner noise. The face wrinkles not just from age, but from repeated expressions of worry, anger, or fear. But when the inner world becomes still, it reflects outwardly in a relaxed face, soft eyes, a calm voice, and a graceful posture. This is the art of carrying time lightly. Inner stillness is not about the absence of thought. It is about mastering your response to thought. The mind will always produce waves. It is its nature. But when you stop reacting to every thought and begin observing it instead, something remarkable begins to happen. Your nervous system finds rest, your breath slows down, your muscles unclench, your body stops living in a state of emergency. When this happens, you shift from a state of survival into a state of regeneration. In a regenerative state, your cells are not constantly inflamed. Your skin is not constantly stretched by tension. Your organs are not overworked by unnecessary anxiety. All these things are conditions that allow the body to restore itself naturally, quietly, consistently. In the teachings of the East, it is often said that the true temple is built within, and when this inner temple is kept clean, quiet, and undisturbed, the external body reflects its purity. Inner stillness creates space in your mind, and space brings clarity. With clarity, your decisions become easier. You avoid unnecessary conflict. You choose environments that support peace. You stay away from people and habits that drain you. All of this reduces the psychological load you carry, and therefore, the physical tension you store. The less weight you carry emotionally, the more freely your energy flows. And it is this flow of energy, unobstructed, smooth, and vital, that gives you a youthful presence no matter your age. Most people do not realize how much of their physical aging is caused by the invisible burdens they carry. Resentment ages you, bitterness tightens your face, constant multitasking robs you of breath. When you cultivate inner stillness, you begin to let go of these patterns. You learn to breathe deeply and fully. You start listening to your body. You eat when you're hungry and stop when you're full. You rest when you're tired. You no longer force yourself into cycles of overwork or comparison. You become your own center. From this center, everything aligns: your emotions, your thoughts, your posture, your actions. This alignment produces grace, and grace carries a timeless beauty. The practice of inner stillness is not about doing nothing. It is about doing with awareness. Walking can be stillness if your steps are conscious. Eating can be stillness if you are present with each bite. Even speaking becomes an act of stillness when you choose words with care. The discipline lies not in what you do, but in how you do it. And over time, this discipline creates a life that is lighter, clearer, more harmonious. You don't have to escape the world to find peace. You simply need to build stillness inside, so that the world no longer controls your rhythm. Stillness is deeply connected to the breath. The quality of your breath determines the quality of your presence. Short, shallow breaths indicate a restless mind. Deep, steady breaths reflect a mind at ease. When you become conscious of your breathing, you reconnect with your center. You shift your focus from the outside world to the internal space, and this shift immediately changes your physiological state. Stress hormones begin to reduce, heart rate stabilizes, muscles begin to relax. This change is not abstract. It is measurable, visible, and deeply healing. The body is always listening to the mind. When the mind is chaotic, the body is tense. When the mind is calm, the body opens. Over time, this relationship between mind and body either accelerates aging or slows it down. Inner stillness is the foundation that strengthens this connection. It teaches the body to live in trust, not fear, and in that trust, the body stops bracing itself. It begins to heal, it begins to glow, it begins to express the energy of youth, not because of appearance, but because of essence. Emotional discipline is the art of managing one's inner world regardless of the chaos or noise in the outer world. It is a form of self-respect, a commitment to choosing peace over unnecessary reaction. In a world that constantly stimulates emotions, fear, anger, envy, comparison, those who remain composed and balanced carry a rare kind of strength. This strength does not just affect the mind, but it affects the body at a cellular level. Every time you allow anger to consume you, cortisol floods your system. Every time you dwell in sadness without awareness, your immune function is compromised. But when emotional discipline is practiced, you create a shield within yourself that protects your life energy from being drained by passing storms. Most people live like open windows, letting in every wind of reaction, every voice of criticism, every surge of drama. They are constantly reacting, and this reactivity wears out their nervous system. They live in a state of emotional exhaustion, which slowly seeps into the body as fatigue, tension, and premature aging. Emotional discipline means closing that window. It means becoming selective with what you allow to disturb your internal climate. When something happens, you pause, you breathe, you respond, but you do not react. You feel, but you are not flooded. This balance allows the body to conserve energy. It does not stay trapped in fight or flight mode. Instead, it begins to regenerate in traditional practices. Mastering emotions is not about suppression. It is about observation. The moment you name the emotion, this is frustration, this is fear, you disempower it. You move from being the emotion to being the observer of the emotion. This subtle shift transforms everything. The emotion still moves through you, but it no longer controls your behavior. It no longer hijacks your breathing or your decisions. And because the body is not thrown into chemical imbalance, it begins to age more slowly. The eyes remain clear, the skin holds softness, the shoulders stay relaxed. These are signs not just of good genetics, but of good emotional hygiene. Emotional discipline is a form of training, just like physical training. You do not become calm by accident. You become calm by intention. Every time someone provokes you and you choose not to be disturbed, you strengthen your inner roots. Every time you let go of something that once triggered you, you become more free. And with each layer of freedom, your energy flows more smoothly. There are fewer emotional blockages. The breath moves easily. The heart beats steadily. This inner stability is reflected outwardly as youthfulness and vitality. People often search for ways to look younger, but they ignore the emotional weight they carry daily. Resentment is heavy. Guilt is heavy. Jealousy is heavy. These are invisible burdens, yet they exhaust the body more than physical labor. Emotional discipline is the act of putting down these weights. It is the decision to forgive, not for others, but for yourself. It is the discipline to move on, to not dwell, to not replay painful memories. This mental cleanliness creates space for new energy. And new energy brings new life into the body when you stop reacting to every small irritation. You create internal silence. This silence is powerful. It becomes a container where peace can grow, and peace is not a luxury. It is a necessity for long, lasting health. The body thrives in a peaceful environment. It digests better. It sleeps deeper. It repairs faster. Emotional discipline cultivates this environment. It is not about being cold or detached. It is about being deeply present, deeply aware, and choosing not to be a slave to emotional impulses. There is a wisdom that comes with watching your emotions instead of becoming them. This wisdom keeps you grounded. You learn to see beyond the momentary feelings. You begin to notice patterns. You start to understand the root causes of your emotional reactions. And with understanding comes choice. You can choose peace over pride. You can choose clarity over confusion. These choices accumulate over time, creating a personality that is less reactive and more radiant. A person who has mastered their emotions holds a certain stillness in their face. They don't wrinkle from frustration. Their eyes don't narrow with judgment. Their body doesn't tense from defensiveness. Instead, they move with lightness. Their presence becomes medicine to others. Their silence feels safe. And this quality, this deep sense of internal order, becomes their beauty. Emotional discipline is not just a spiritual goal, it is a physical benefit. It allows the body to rest, the skin to glow, and the spirit to remain young despite the years passing by. A meaningful routine is not about rigid schedules or robotic repetition. It is about creating a structure that supports your physical, emotional, and mental alignment. It is the foundation upon which clarity and energy are built. When the body knows what to expect and the mind is not constantly scattered by uncertainty, there is a sense of calmness that begins to settle deep within. This calmness allows your internal systems to function efficiently. Hormones regulate properly, digestion becomes smoother, sleep becomes deeper. The result of this internal harmony is reflected externally in how you carry yourself, how you look, and how you feel. It is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters with presence. Every day that begins with intention sends a message to your body and mind that you are in control. You are not at the mercy of outside circumstances. You are not pulled in every direction. You create the rhythm of your life. This rhythm, when built around meaningful practices like breathing, movement, nourishing food, and focused work, generates momentum. That momentum eliminates the chaos that leads to stress. And when stress is reduced, aging slows. The lines on the face that come from worry begin to fade. The heaviness in the eyes that comes from sleeplessness is replaced by clarity. The posture straightens. The body regains its natural flow. There is great power in doing the same simple things every day with full awareness. Drinking water first thing in the morning, sitting in silence for a few minutes, moving the body with intention, eating slowly and with gratitude, sleeping early. These are not revolutionary ideas, yet they are deeply transformative when practiced with consistency. The body is a reflection of your habits. If your routine is filled with rush, noise, and neglect, the body will mirror that with fatigue, tension, and signs of premature aging. But if your routine is rooted in care, simplicity, and discipline, the body responds with vitality, resilience, and youthful energy. A meaningful routine also anchors you when life becomes unpredictable. It becomes your inner sanctuary. While others are overwhelmed by distractions, you remain grounded. Your day does not begin with chaos, it begins with clarity. Your actions are not reactive, they are deliberate. This stability is what creates the space for growth. The mind becomes more focused, the emotions become more balanced, the body becomes more efficient in using and conserving energy. All of this adds up to a life that not only feels better, but also looks better from the outside. Youthfulness is not just about the absence of wrinkles. It is about the presence of life, and that life flows freely in a well-aligned system. People often chase motivation, but they forget that motivation fades. Discipline remains, and it is discipline that shapes your routine. Discipline is not punishment. It is an act of self-love. It is the decision to show up for yourself even when you don't feel like it. Over time, this decision becomes a habit. That habit becomes your routine, and that routine becomes your identity. Your body begins to trust you. Your mind begins to settle. Your nervous system begins to stabilize. And from this inner stability, you radiate a different kind of energy, one that is calm, centered, and youthful. In ancient traditions, the idea of ritual was central. Simple acts like lighting a candle, bowing before meditation, or preparing tea were done with reverence. These were not random habits, they were anchors to the present moment. When your routine is sacred, your life becomes sacred. You begin to treat your time with respect. You begin to treat your body with care. You begin to say no to what drains you and yes to what nourishes you. And that nourishment, repeated day after day, becomes the soil in which vitality grows. You don't need extreme measures to maintain your youth. You need consistency in the small things that matter most. A meaningful routine also brings order to your inner world. It reduces decision fatigue. It removes unnecessary complexity. You no longer waste energy deciding when to wake up, what to eat, or when to exercise. These decisions are already made. That freed energy can now be used for creativity, connection, or contemplation. Your day flows instead of stumbles, and when the day flows well, the body flows well. The face is not rushed, the eyes are not tired, the breath is not shallow. All of these are signs of a life lived in rhythm. You become what you repeatedly do. This truth applies not only to character, but also to appearance. If your daily habits are chaotic, disconnected, or rooted in stress, it will show on your skin, in your posture, and in your energy. But if your days are woven with care, balance, and purpose, that too will be reflected in how you age. A meaningful routine is not restrictive, it is liberating. It gives you the freedom to live with intention, and that intention becomes the source of your youthfulness. It becomes the quiet force that protects your energy, strengthens your focus, and renews your vitality again and again. Detachment from external stress is not a sign of apathy, but a reflection of deep inner understanding. It means recognizing that while the world is full of unpredictable events, not everything deserves access to your peace. The ability to observe the chaos without becoming it is a discipline that preserves both your mental clarity and your physical energy. Stress, when absorbed without awareness, becomes a silent poison that tightens the muscles, disturbs the breath, clouds the thoughts, and ages the body from the inside. The one who learns to detach does not run from responsibility, but instead moves with presence and control through life's challenges. They do not give away their inner stillness to every disturbance that comes from the outside world. From a physical perspective, stress activates the survival systems in the body. The heart beats faster. The breath becomes shallow, muscles tense, digestion slows, the immune system is weakened. All these responses are helpful in short bursts, but when stress becomes constant and uncontrolled, the body begins to suffer. Chronic stress accelerates aging because it keeps the body in a state of ongoing emergency. The skin becomes dull, the eyes lose their brightness, and the nervous system is on edge. Detachment from external stress allows the body to return to its natural state of balance. In this state, the body can rest, repair, and replenish. This is where real youthfulness is preserved, not through avoidance of life, but through wise engagement with it. Many people believe they need to control everything around them in order to feel safe or successful. But this mindset creates a dependency on circumstances. When things go well, they feel peace. When things go wrong, they fall apart. This constant fluctuation creates instability. Detachment means recognizing that you do not need the world to be perfect for you to be at peace. You can choose how much power you give to circumstances. You can learn to step back, to breathe, and to respond from a place of calm. This choice does not make problems disappear, but it changes how you carry them. And how you carry them determines the toll they take on your body. In ancient traditions, the idea of non-attachment was central to a peaceful mind and a long life. The goal was not to disconnect from people or experiences, but to avoid becoming enslaved by them. When you are too attached to outcomes, opinions, or control, you begin to suffer. This suffering shows itself not just in the heart, but in the face, in the shoulders, in the breath. A person who is always chasing approval or fearing rejection will wear that tension in every part of their being. But a person who is rooted in inner awareness can engage with the world while remaining unshaken. This quality brings a sense of lightness that is often mistaken for youth, but in truth, it is peace. Detachment also brings clarity. When you are no longer consumed by external stressors, your mind becomes sharper. Your thoughts become less reactive and more reflective. You stop wasting energy on things you cannot control. That energy is redirected inward, fueling creativity, focus, and vitality. Over time, this redirection changes how you look and feel. You are no longer aging from the inside out because of stress. Instead, you are strengthening yourself from the inside out because of discipline. Every breath becomes fuller. Every movement becomes freer. The body softens, not from weakness, but from the absence of resistance. One of the simplest but most powerful practices of detachment is to pause. In the moment when something outside of you triggers an emotional reaction, take a breath. In that space between stimulus and response lies your freedom. It is in that space that you decide not to give your power away. You choose your peace over your impulse. You choose your long-term well-being over temporary reaction. With practice, this becomes a habit, and that habit becomes part of your identity. You no longer carry the world on your shoulders. You begin to walk lightly, speak softly, rest deeply. These are the signs of someone who is aging gracefully, not because they avoid life, but because they move through it wisely. The more you detach from what you cannot control, the more you connect with what truly matters: your breath, your values, your purpose. You begin to understand that external storms will always come, but you do not have to bring them inside. You learn to protect your space. You learn to say no to what drains your energy and yes to what renews it. This practice is not selfish. It is self-preserving. It is what allows you to remain whole in a world that constantly pulls you apart. And it is this wholeness that reflects outwardly as calm energy, radiant presence, and timeless strength. When you begin to understand that youthfulness is not merely a number, but a reflection of how you live, how you think, and how you carry your inner world, the path to graceful aging becomes clear. It is not found in external remedies, but in internal discipline. When you cultivate inner stillness, your body moves with less resistance. When you practice emotional discipline, your energy is no longer wasted on reactivity. When your routine is meaningful, your life gains rhythm and harmony. And when you detach from external stress, you protect your peace and preserve your essence. To look younger than your age is not a gift of luck. It is the result of how you choose to live every single day. A calm mind, a disciplined heart, a centered life. These are the real secrets to timeless presence.